Welcome. It's extra. That's right. If you missed the show earlier on the Better Sports Network, that's at Better Network at all your favorite social media platforms. We're on demand on the Better Sports Network app or at bettersports.com. If you caught the show earlier, that's 7 o'clock Eastern Time every Monday night. We're just going to be talking about a lot of things that happened over the show and over the night of sports in general. Um, Thomas Stevens, Rant on the Street, a really good one tonight. We talked about UFC. We talked about the NBA, the state of the Golden State Warriors. We had some great chats. We had a great call-in by Nick Durst talking about St. John's, the Rick Pitino hiring. Talk about the Yankees, Aaron Judge. We have the Monday Night Rants fantasy baseball draft next week. It'll be live on the show. It's the Better Network, the Better Sports Network show. Sorry, we'll be live 7 o'clock Eastern on Monday. Get in that if you can. It's free to enter, completely free. You literally play fantasy baseball for free with me, my producer Tyler Soto, Thomas Stevens, and all the best guests and chatters we have, fellow ranters, if you will, on the show. And the winner gets $100 cash, straight up. $100 cash plus a Monday Night Rant swag bag for you, just for playing. And you'll be on the show next week as we draft. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you missed the show earlier, we did talk about the NCAA and the March Madness. And I went over my Sweet 16 picks, who I like. I really like Tennessee going to the Final Four. Like UCLA beating Gonzaga going to the Final Four. Really think Miami can give it to Houston. But my upset pick of the week, and what I think is going to happen in the NCAA March Madness, as I talked about on my show, is that the San Diego State Aztecs are going to upset Alabama. And I said it, and I was going over the stats while I was doing it, and I still agree with it. Vegas has the spread all wrong. It should be around 5 at most. The San Diego Aztecs defense is too good. You take Brandon Miller out of the game, you could beat Alabama. We've seen it all year. Number 1 overall seed. Man, Kansas should have been the number 1 overall seed. But I know they lost. They have the best team in college basketball. They have the most NBA Now ready players in college basketball. That's how you win in college basketball. So that happened. So San Diego State upsetting Alabama, my Sweet 16. We went over that. It's great. We talked about UFC, Edwards, how I feel like Leon Edwards did what he needed to do to become a better champion, is get better and prove that you got better. His hits, his punches, his kicks, his knees, they just hit harder than Usman's. I know there's controversy that Usman maybe should have won because of his takedowns, but takedowns don't mean as much anymore as they once did in the UFC. And I think Edwards deservedly won. And now there's a huge gap between the top of the weight class and Usman and the rest of them. And he could be a champion for a year or two now. Maybe 2 or 3 title defenses. Talked about that. If you disagree, let me know. But there's no reason for me to believe that he's not the champion and the true champion and the underdog story of all time, when he's always the underdog but somehow wins. Yeah, he was getting dominated by Usman last fight. He found a way to win. That's the UFC. But what did he do this time? Came out fighting. And he won the first round. First 2 rounds, maybe. He did enough to win. That's what champions do. Like I said, Nick Durst called in it as well towards the end. We talked about the World Baseball Classic. Wow, Japan. Still won my bet, though. Still won my bet. That's cool to see. Mexico blowing it. Bottom of the ninth. The comeback story of a lifetime. And what a great baseball game that was. That felt like playoff baseball. Everything about it. It was epic. It was close, like I predicted. It was just players putting everything on the line for their nation. It was cool to see. Rosarina making a great catch to rob a home run. Ohtani in the clutch coming through in the end to help the team win. That's everything you wanted in a baseball game and more. Without a pitch clock, old school baseball rules, a really good game. Japan, United States, tomorrow night. Boom. It's going to be a lot of fun. One thing that happened over my show earlier that I kind of want to talk about, and I was talking about with Thomas Stevens, we did Rants on the Street. We talked about NBA and, like kind of where we stand. I did my power rankings. I still think Embiid is a shoo-in for the MVP. At this point, it's his to lose. Let's talk about Michael Jordan. Okay? Michael Jordan, who most people consider the greatest basketball player of all time. And then we started talking about on Rants on the Street, we were talking about how, the Jordan Poole, Draymond Green incident where Draymond Green punched him. Yeah, we all know that. And Draymond Green's a thug and blah, blah, blah. But did you know that Michael Jordan punched 3 teammates during his career? So then I went deeper. Yeah, that's what I do. Michael Jordan retired, the first time from the NBA. From the NBA, he retired, played baseball. That worked. The team for the Bulls, after he retired, only lost 2. They went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals to a 7-game where they should have won. So take Michael Jordan off of the Bulls and put Michael Jordan on the Heat. Is he the greatest of all time? Because when you look at the greatest of all time in sports, Tom Brady, he won a Super Bowl with 2 teams. Okay, let's go back to the NBA. LeBron James. You watch my show, you know I'm not a big Lakers supporter. It's clear. But at some point, you have to give LeBron James his due. He did get the scoring record this year. But most importantly, what he's done that Michael Jordan didn't do, what Tom Brady did, is he won the NBA championship with 3 different teams. That's more than Tom Brady. And take him away from those teams, they're straight trash. Take Michael Jordan away from the Bulls. Hey, so calling Michael Jordan the greatest of all time, I think has finally hit its mark. And by the way, he's definitely not the greatest GM of all time. The Charlotte Hornets is trash. What he did was legendary. What Michael Jordan did was legendary. He has records that we'll may never see from consecutive, right? But when you look at the team as a whole and the coach that he had, you have to ask yourself, is he really the greatest basketball player of all time? And I can't believe a 90s kid myself I find myself asking that question now. Maybe he isn't. Just maybe the LeBron truthers are right. And LeBron James may be the best basketball player of all time because he's done more than Jordan has in a longer period of time. Just like Tom Brady. We all say Tom Brady's the GOAT. LeBron James said, hold my beer because he won the title with 3 different teams. One of them was Mickey Mouse during the pandemic. We know. But still, he did it. And no, he had the big 3 in Miami. Still did it. And in Cleveland, like arguably, when he won the title in Cleveland, you take him off that team's not even making the playoffs. But you take Michael Jordan off the Bulls, that team still makes the playoffs and has a deep run. Michael Jordan also punched 3 teammates while he was on the Bulls. Yet he's the GOAT. And Draymond Green, he's a thug. An era's coming out. That ought to be fun. But ultimately, I'm going to say it. Michael Jordan is not the GOAT of the NBA. And from a 90s kid, that hurts my heart. I've seen it now, 20 years later. I can't agree with that anymore. It's probably going to end up being, as a Clippers fan, LeBron James. So that was done on the show earlier. So that was fun. If you missed that one, check it out on demand on the Better Sports Network app or at bettersports.com or all your favorite social media platforms at Better Network or my platforms as well. Again, next week we are doing the Monday Night Rants Fantasy Baseball Draft. It's filling up right now. I just sent all the links out. I'll send more out as well. I'm trying to get 14 teams if we can. It's all points league, no averages, no on base, none of that. Just straight up average or straight up points. Yeah, hit. You get a hit, you get a point. You hit a home run, you get 4. It's total bases. That's it. All points. That's the way I do it. A points league, head to head. And if you win that week, you're 1-0. You're not 14-0, whatever the categories are. That's the way it's going to be. $100 to the winner, plus the Monday Night Rants swag bag, hoodie, hat, shirt, all coming your way from your boy here on Monday Night Rants on the Better Sports Network. That's the way it's going to roll. So, Thomas Stevens really put that whole Michael Jordan thing in perspective with me when we started talking about the Draymond Green punch. Interesting, I know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you disagree. That's fine. Yell at me. I don't care. I yell at you for 3 hours every Monday. It's fair that you can get your 5 minutes of fame too. Still think, also, if you missed the show, the bet with my producer being Tyler Heavy T Soto. He missed the show tonight. He's a little under the weather. Anthony Rivera, great job filling in. So Tyler Soto, pickle. He lost the pickle bet. He had to eat a pickle. Everyone saw the video. It's one of the most watched things on the Better Network of all time. It's great. It's fantastic. I don't like to see a guy gag because it makes me gag, but holy crap, was that funny. But he gave me a lot of crap when I picked Miami to go to the Final Four. And sure enough, here we are. Miami versus Houston coming up this week and on Friday. And I still like Miami. I don't think this Houston team is tested enough. This Miami team has been tested all year. They're healthy again. Omir is back. He's healthy. Their front court looks good on paper. This Miami team is deeper. Sasser doesn't look good for Houston. He's playing through the injury. He's not playing good through the injury. It's a difference. I like my bet. I don't know what's going to be yet. I kind of want to see him pound a pint of pickle juice. But then again, if I lose, what am I going to do? Do I have to drink 16 ounces of mayonnaise? Because I'm going to, like I said on the show earlier, I'm going to go straight I'm Team America World Police on all my computer equipment, everything you see in front of you, and that's going to be absolutely terrible. So we don't want that at all. But at the same time, a bet's a bet. If you've seen the show, you know that I live up to my bets when I lose them. So we'll have a lot of fun next week, and we'll be down to the Final Four in college basketball. We'll be down to we'll know who won the World Baseball Classic. NBA is down to its final week. Major League Baseball starts a week from Thursday, opening day. It's going to be a lot of fun there too. The NHL is calming down towards the playoffs. It's kind of already set there, but in the playoffs in the NHL, anything can happen. NFL free agency. We talked about Devin Singletary joining the Houston Texans. Dalton Schultz, that's right, going to the Houston Texans. Staying in the same state, going to Houston. Houston's doing something. Considered the worst team in football last year. They are doing something at the right time. They're going to have C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young on their team. They're going to have Devin Singletary and Damian Pierce on their team. They have a good young nucleus of receivers. We got Dalton Schultz at tight end. And their defense at times last year played pretty well. But they're also in a really bad division where Tennessee ain't going up. The Colts, we don't know what the hell the Colts are doing. I still think Will Levis will be the quarterback next year. They're doing the right things at the right time in that division, in a crappy division. And probably will have a chance to win it. The division, not the Super Bowl. Let's not get crazy. And that's why we got to get rid of the divisions. Like I've been saying. But it's the same thing with the NFC South and the NFC North now if Aaron Rodgers leaves. When Aaron Rodgers leaves. We'll be doing the same thing over and over again, right? With Aaron Rodgers for the next, month? 2 months? All the way to July? Make a decision. Jesus Christ. Go on national television and say that's what you want to do. This guy must have pictures of, in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where the grandpa gets to sleep in the kid's bunk bed on top, and he's laying in the bed. He's looking up at the picture of the old 90s of the model and the lingerie on or whatever. I feel like Aaron Rodgers lays in his bed at night and has a picture of Brett Favre above him on the ceiling. This doesn't seem like exactly what I want to be this guy. I'm going to do whatever it takes to be this guy. It's like when I grew up, I wanted to be Ken Griffey Jr., but I ain't following in his footsteps. Aaron Rodgers like, nah. Brett Favre. I want to do exactly what you do. Come on. More on that next week, though. I don't want to get into it now. But I did a deep dive. Well, I guess I'm going back to it. I did a deep dive on Brett Favre versus Aaron Rodgers stats at Green Bay and playoff wins and all that. Aaron Rodgers does have the better career numbers. But as far as wins in the playoffs or getting to the playoffs, Brett Favre wins. Now, Brett Favre threw a crap load of interceptions. Way more than Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers does not throw that many interceptions. Just to the Detroit Lions recently. But when it comes down to it, their foot path or their path or whatever to what they're doing, it's literally as if Aaron Rodgers is looking at a magazine cover model of Brett Favre and saying, I want to be you and I'm going to do exactly what you want to do. It's crazy. Nuts. But again, more on that next week. We talked about it a little bit on the show as well. I did also mention some free agency, like I said, and I did mention Zeke Elliott, who's now a free agent for the Cowboys, how he would be a good fit on the Chargers too. I don't think Eckler's going anywhere. And if they do trade him, good. Get Zeke, fine. I'm okay with it. Running backs just don't have the longevity that they used to. They're not as coveted. The Detroit Lions got a steal on David Montgomery. We talked about this earlier on the show. A steal in David Montgomery. And most running backs can't even play a full season without getting hurt. Name one that had 30 carries and played all 17 games in the last 5 years, besides Derrick Henry. And by the way, last year hurt. This year, name one. There's just there's no trade value in running backs. Brandon Cooks got traded. The Cowboys were willing to trade for Brandon Cooks. The Cowboys ain't trading for a running back because they don't need to. Nobody needs to trade for a running back. Where's Ox Eckler going to go? Do a rap duo with Le'Veon Bell? How did this whole thing work out for Melvin Gordon? Running backs are as they are, and that's what makes them more valuable in fantasy, by the way. And I still believe you got to get your running back quick because it drops down to where you're getting back shares second, third, fourth rounds. And if you don't have Jonathan Taylor, hurt. Christian McCaffrey could get hurt. If you don't, like, it's just becoming this thing where, like, I'm not taking that receiver first overall. I'm not taking Justin Jefferson. I'm not. I got to get that one running back left in all of football that could actually help you in fantasy because his floor is higher than everyone else because I'm not sharing carries. Or the hot hand, which I hate. The hot hand. The hot hand. Oh, you're lying. When I hear the hot hand, I just want to I want to Team America World Police all over my shot. Not good. So we talked about that a little bit. How I think Zeke would be a good fit on the Chargers to help Eckler, or even if Eckler gets traded, Zeke would be a good goal line back for them. Help out Herbert would be really good. We did mention the Lions and the Bears and what they're doing. Great things in free agency. I even said on the show, I love what the Broncos are doing. 2 solid offensive line pickups. Great. You still got a running back coming off a bad knee injury. It's about the Williams. Melvin Gordon's trash. So, but Russell Wilson, was the offensive line the problem last year? No. But Sean Payton loves his offensive lines. And he's doing what he can to rebuild his team. He's stuck with Russell Wilson. They're stuck with him. Whether they trade one of the receivers, I know there's been talk about it. Will they trade Judy? Will they trade Sutton? We'll see. I wouldn't. And you got the Raiders becoming the Patriots of the West. It's not going to work. Sorry, Raiders fans. It's not going to work. The Raiders need to stop patching things and just go back to the rebuild mode. Stop patching things. If it broke, it broke. You can't just put duct tape on it and go, okay, let's try again. That didn't work. Put more duct tape on it. Try again. Put more duct tape on it. Try again. That's the Raiders. Jimmy G. No. Jacoby Myers. No. Come on. So, free agency has been crazy in the NFL. We've seen over the weeks Miles Sanders on the Panthers, Adam Thielen on the Panthers. Panthers are going to get a quarterback. We don't know which one. If it was me, it would be CJ Stroud. No doubt. We talked about that on the show as well. We talked about Bryce Young versus CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud has just that extra ability to make plays happen in the scramble that Bryce Young does not have. Now, Bryce Young will be perfect on the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans want the Panthers to draft CJ Stroud because they want Bryce Young. Because Bryce Young, with those receivers and those running backs, will be good on the Houston Texans. That's not saying that Stroud would not be good on the Texans. He'd be fine too. But I think that Bryce Young was their guy all along. And the kind of hoping the Panthers take Stroud. Which is fine. It's finally a good quarterback there. Last year was a terrible quarterback year, as we saw. Was any quarterback drafted last year worthy of anything? Oh, wait, I was right? Ritter? Come on. Atlanta. Go get Lamar Jackson. Call it a day. Crappy division. You get Lamar Jackson, you're the favorite to win that division. Over the Derek Carr Saints. Come on. It's that easy. It's that easy in the NFL. Quarterback means everything. Malik Willis, he got benched before the season ended. That dude can't throw a football. You know who the best quarterback was from the draft last year? You already know the answer. Brock Purdy. And look at some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. Tom Brady. Drew Brees. These guys weren't drafted first overall. There's a few of them. Peyton Manning's. Baker Mayfield. Ugh. Johnny Manziel. Carson Wentz. Jared Goff. Well, they'll be fine this year. It's a lottery pick. If you disagree, you disagree, but look at the stats here. Jamarcus Russell. Ryan Leaf. Achilles Smith. I could go on. It's just about the right system and where you get them. Aaron Rodgers was a late pick. Derek Carr was a second-round pick. Mac Jones. Tua was drafted before Justin Herbert. Burrow was a hit. I'll give you that. But we're talking about just trying to find a hit. First overall. Or second. Jalen Hurts. How's Kyler Murray doing? It's a lottery. It's the same thing with fantasy, too. Fantasy baseball, fantasy football, it's the same thing. I have no problem trading my picks because it is a lottery. I'd rather have the player do it now than getting a first-round pick and just hoping that Miles Sanders will pan out. Or Jonathan Taylor won't get hurt for a whole year. Now, Bijan Robinson may be, the next Adrian Peterson. Probably can be on the right system. It's great. Quarterbacks are not so easily to comprehend, Vince Young. Matt Leinart. Mark Sanchez had one good year until he butt fumbled. It's crazy. So much hype about trading up to get your quarterbacks, and How many times does it not hit in the first 3 picks? It's always that late first rounder or second rounder that actually hits. But it also depends on the coach. It depends on the system. What system you're in, right? Brock Purdy succeeds at San Francisco because every quarterback succeeds in San Francisco. Literally. If Brock Purdy was playing for the Carolina Panthers, oh, by the way, Sam Darnold, he would be terrible. Prove me wrong. You can't. So we'll see what this year prevails in the draft. I'm looking forward to it. I want to know where Bijan Robinson goes. I, for some reason, Quentin Johnson just fell off the draft boards, so someone's going to get a steal there. We'll see. Well, if Levis is on the Colts, we'll see. I want to see if the Raiders draft a quarterback. If the Jimmy G is a bridge type of thing, we'll see. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We'll see the Sweet 16 this week. Put my picks in. My final four. My final four is this. It's Miami, San Diego State, it's Tennessee, and UCLA. And at this point, I got to think UCLA wins the whole thing, even without the front court. It's a weird year. So, there you have it. World Baseball Classic tomorrow. The spread, I'm going to take the 1.5 for USA over Japan. It's a no-brainer there. Otani may start for Japan. That'll be interesting. You're going to have Merrill Kelly for the United States, but they've done nothing but 2 innings, bullpen games all World Classic long, but their offense is so damn good that whatever. So it's how long can Otani last against the 1 through 9 that is the all-star MLB all-star starting lineup for the NL pretty much for the United States. That'll be fun. NBA, we'll see what happens this week as well. We'll see if the Golden State Warriors can win a road game. And now you're going to start to see all the teams actually playing everybody. No more rest days to try to get their final spots at the playoffs. It'll be interesting. So we'll see what these teams are actually made of. One of the questions that was brought to me on the show earlier was from Wade Tavares, who literally asked, how do you look at playoffs? Like, were you saying things? Is it from the whole season in general or who's hot going into the playoffs? Just like college basketball, NBA is the same way. Who's hot going into the playoffs? And you can't look at rest days. You got to look at the team as a whole because there's so many damn rest games. There's too many goddamn games in the NBA. You look at the teams. When Kawhi Leonard and Paul George play together, that team's a winning team. When Irving and Doncic play together, they're close to a winning team. They have no defense, so that's going to be a problem. They're the Gonzaga of the NBA. But when I look at it right now, I love the way that Sacramento is playing as a team, and they're hot, and they've been hot for a while now. They're proving that they can win a 7-game series. I'm scared of Sacramento. If I'm anybody in the West, the one team, because Denver has been losing. Memphis, we don't know what's going on with the drama of Ja Morant. The Clippers just can't be consistent. The Warriors can't win on the road. The Lakers, they're just happy to be there if they get there. Literally, the one team I'm scared of right now in the West is the Sacramento Kings. Light the beam. I'm telling you, they're a dangerous team in the playoffs. And on the other side in the East, like I said, the 76ers are playing the best basketball right now of any team has played this year. And that's dangerous as well because you got the MVP and Embiid. He's going to win the MVP. You want to know why I think that? Go on demand on Better Sports Network and watch my show because I laid it out for you earlier on my Night Rants. Every time. All the time. All right, everybody. Enjoy your night, late night Monday Night Rants Extra. After the draft next week, we'll do an extra again on Monday around the same time. I'm going to try to get Thomas Stevens on, maybe Tyler Soto, Heavy T. We'll talk some baseball. We'll talk some stuff after the show, recap what happened on the show, what should be watching for after all the games happen, if the bets hit, all that good stuff. Thank you for joining Monday Night Rants Extra. And we'll see you next week, my fellow ranters. Boom.